Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh! Are you kidding me? And
gone! Welcome back to the Schoolyard Sports Lane and Frank podcast. I'm the host of this podcast, Lane Frank, and we are now on episode number 9. There's a lot of news in the sports world. Trevor Lawrence will not play against number 4 Notre Dame. That'll be a great game, but they will go without Trevor Lawrence. They will go DG Uiagalelei as their starter. Tua Tagovailoa made his NFL debut, and he was okay, not the greatest. The NFL is maybe thinking about a 16-team playoff. That'd be great for some teams. I doubt it will happen this season, maybe next season. We'll just have to wait and see. But NBA, we have a couple segments planned for that. And stay tuned for Schoolyard Sports with Lane Frank. It's going to be an amazing episode. A lot about the NFL, NBA, and so much more. Let's start off episode number 9 with our headlines. In the NFL, there was a bunch of news. Tua Tagovailoa, like I said in the intro, his first start was okay, only 93 passing yards, but the defense was just phenomenal. The Dolphins' defense was phenomenal against the Rams. It's not alarming at all that Tua had a bad game, but he fumbled on his first pass attempt. We'll just have to wait and see how his career goes, but his first start was okay. And then 49ers. The 49ers are in big trouble. George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo are both out for many weeks. George Kittle broke a bone in his foot and will be out 8 weeks. Jimmy G has another high ankle sprain. He'll be out for a little bit. He never fully recovered from that week 2 injury against the Jets. We'll just have to see how they recover. But they have Nick Mullins. I don't think there's anybody on that roster that can really replace George Kittle. But we'll just have to wait and see how the 49ers do. But they will be without their best player in offense with George Kittle and their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. Carson Wentz has issues. He had a really bad game against the Cowboys, the worst defense maybe of all time. That defense is absolutely horrible, the Cowboys. And Carson Wentz had a bad game against them. I had him on my fantasy football team. He only got me 11 points. He had 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. Carson Wentz, it's a bit alarming. I mean, if you bench him, there's no going back from that. You can't, if Jalen Hurts does bad, you can't say, Carson Wentz, can you start again? No, I mean, Carson Wentz, if that happens, then that should be bad for the Eagles. You can't start Jalen Hurts, then go back to Carson Wentz. That just won't work. So Carson Wentz needs to figure out whatever is going on with him. But I think he had a bad game, and I think maybe his future with the Eagles might be in jeopardy. The trade deadline was this week, and Desmond King went to the Titans. Titans need help on defense, and they got Desmond King. He will be the punt returner for them and their strong safety. Desmond King was a solid player for the Chargers, and they traded him to the Titans for a 6th-round pick. I was surprised they couldn't get more from the Titans for Desmond King, but Desmond King will be headed to Tennessee. Quan Alexander will be shipped to New Orleans with the Saints. That was a bit surprising move to me. He made the Pro Bowl in 2018 with the Buccaneers, but I mean, Quan Alexander, he'll be heading to New Orleans. And Dalvin Cook, what a game Dalvin Cook had. He was just phenomenal. I had him on my fantasy football team. 46 points, 4 total touchdowns. You know, I remember it was 3rd and 11 when he had 3 rushing touchdowns. And I said, oh, no, there's no way they're going to give it to him. He had a 50-yard receiving touchdown. Dalvin Cook is absolutely insane. Kirk Cousins didn't even play that well of a game. And they beat the Packers. And what an upset that was. Dalvin Cook was just phenomenal. Maybe the best game of his career. But that wasn't the only upset. The Bengals upset the Titans. Joe Burrow, maybe the best game of his career as of now. And I did not expect the Titans to lose in that game at all. Ryan Tannehill just didn't have that good of a game. Joe Burrow outplayed Ryan Tannehill, and the Bengals won. That was absolutely an insane upset. Now, one comeback win was the Chargers losing to the Broncos. The Broncos had an insane comeback win. Drew Lock, I mean, he's looking good now. He came back from injury. He was banged up his first few games. Obviously, he didn't play that well against the Patriots. He played pretty bad against the Chiefs, but that's the Chiefs in a snow game. They ran the ball a lot in that game. But, I mean, what a game Drew Lock had against the Chargers. Comeback win. Chargers offense, Justin Herbert, it's great. One of the best offenses in the NFL. Keenan Allen, he's really good. Justin Herbert, they connect. Justin Jackson, their running back. Anybody, but if they lost that game because of their defense and getting rid of Desmond King, I don't think that's going to help them at all. I mean, their defense is bad. They need to build on their defense in the draft. Maybe find a pass rusher in the draft. Maybe Kwity Paye, the left end from Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson, someone like that. But, I mean, they need to find somebody. The Chargers, their defense is just not playing that well this year. They have players. They have Joey Bosa. They have Melvin Ingram. They had Desmond King, but they got rid of him. Drew Lock is looking like a Ryan Tannehill. Not like a great player, but if you need him to step up, you need him to get you a comeback win, he will get it. And Drew Lock had a great game against the Chargers. Now, and my MVP prediction. Patrick Maholmes is MVP. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's an amazing player. What I saw this week, he has 20 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. That's insane. Patrick Mahomes is MVP, and if you think otherwise, then I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes had an amazing game. It's not going to be Lamar Jackson MVP this season. It's not going to be Tom Brady. I don't think so. Patrick Maholmes will be the MVP this season, getting his second MVP of his career. And Lamar Jackson did not have a good game at all against the Steelers. It's a bit concerning that he had a bad game against the Steelers. He's not having that good of a season this year than he did last season when MVP. They lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Titans last year. But Lamar Jackson, I would be a bit concerned if I were the Ravens. I mean, he needs to step it up. Maybe he's still, he got banged up a little bit in practice a couple weeks ago. Maybe still lingering that injury. But Lamar Jackson didn't play that well against the Steelers, and that's why they lost. But that's about it for the NFL in our headlines. College football, Trevor Lawrence, like I said, he did test positive. He will not play against Notre Dame. He will be on the sidelines, but he will not play. That was Coach Dabo's when he said that's a big loss for Clemson, especially in their biggest game this season as of now against number 4 Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame definitely has a chance to upset them. That wasn't the only news. College football, obviously, Michigan lost to Michigan State. My favorite team, Michigan, lost to Michigan State. And I cannot be any more sorry. I cannot believe we lost to Michigan State. Michigan State had a terrible first game against Rutgers, having 7 turnovers. I don't think Michigan even had 1 sack against Rocky Lombardi. The refs were a bit off in that game. I mean, they're calling pass interference on just bad calls. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't think we should fire Jim Harbaugh yet. I don't think Michigan needs to fire Jim Harbaugh just yet. But, I don't know. Something has to change. Maybe fire the defensive coordinator, Don Brown, because he was stubborn. He didn't change his game plan at all. He didn't change the way the corners were playing. But Michigan lost to Michigan State. But now, college basketball. We haven't really talked about much about college basketball at all in any episodes, really, but number 8 recruit in the 2021 class committed to Michigan, Caleb Houston. He's the highest ranked recruit since 2000, common recruiting era with Rivals, 247 Sports, all those sites. He's the highest ranked recruit to commit to Michigan since 2000, and that's absolutely great if you're a Michigan fan. Obviously, they lost Isaiah Todd, a 5-star commit last year, which would have been their highest ranked commit. They obviously didn't get Josh Christopher, but Caleb Houston looking like what will be the first 5-star to play under Juwan Howard. That's about it for headlines this week. It's Zero Lot. Now, let's move to Schoolyard Sports Game Day. We're going to predict all the main NFL games for the week if you're not familiar with the show, but let's get into it. First game, Packers 49ers. Short week for both teams. Packers, they had a bad loss last week. Nick Mullins, he'll probably have to start this game. He'll have to step up, but I do think the Packers win close just because it's a short week. Nick Mullins doesn't have enough days to prepare. So I think the 49ers lose this one, the Packers win. Seahawks Bills. Seahawks lose this one in Buffalo. I like Buffalo winning this one. I like the Bills over the Seahawks, and the Seahawks get their second loss of the season. Bears Titans. Another upset I'm doing. The Bears beat the Titans, and the Titans go on a 3-game skid. Raiders Chargers. The Raiders, bigger than expected. Okay, Justin Herbert, he'll play well. Justin Herbert will play well, but the defense will be horrible, and Derek Carr will throw 4 passing touchdowns, and they will win 41-20. Steelers Cowboys. The Steelers, big. The Cowboys are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I'll say 100-0 Steelers. Not actually, but probably 35-7 Steelers. Dolphins Cardinals. The Cardinals. It's kind of a matchup of mobile quarterbacks, college quarterbacks. Obviously, they're competitors in college. Obviously, Kyler and Tua, they played in the semifinal college football playoff semifinal game. They were contending for the Heisman that year, but I do think the Cardinals come away in this one. I like Kyler Murray. I like the Cardinals a lot. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, top 5 team in the NFL by far, and I think the Cardinals win this one big, and Tua struggles. Ravens Colts, close, but the Ravens. I was thinking of maybe saying the Colts will win this one. The Colts, the Ravens will go on another 2-game skid. I don't think that'll happen. I think the Ravens bounce back and they beat the Colts. The Saints Bucks in prime time on Sunday Night Football. Brady won't be the story, but the Bucks win 31-20, and AB won't be the story either. I think one of the running backs will be the story, maybe Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones didn't have a good game on Monday Night Football. The Bucks did struggle a little bit on Monday Night Football against the Giants, but I don't expect that to happen here on Sunday Night Football. I do think the Bucks win 31-20. Texans Jaguars. Yeah, Jake Luton is a Jaguars quarterback. Who's he? No, that's not good for the Jaguars at all. Gardner Minshew will not play. They'll have to start rookie from Oregon State, Jake Luton. I don't think they'll do well at all. Texans, big, 41-25. Patriots Jets. Watch out, Patriots. You're not playing well as of late. And the Jets, don't underestimate them. I like Sam Darnold a lot. They weren't really competitive with the Chiefs, but it wasn't a blowout, like I said. It's going to be like 50-0 or something crazy like that. But watch out, Patriots. Jets could win this one, but I don't think that will happen. But the Patriots do win 31-28. That's about it for Schoolyard Sports Game Day. Leave your picks in the comment section. Weren't that many big games this week, but I picked the main ones, and hopefully I get them right. Last week I didn't do that well. I think I was 6-5, 7-5, something like that. But this week we're going to get that perfect record, and those are my picks of the week. Now, top 5. Today's top 5 is top 5 NFL quarterbacks right now. It's how they're playing, not over their career. Obviously, if it was over their career, Brady would be at 1. But it's how they're playing right now. But let's get into it. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is not in the top 3, not 2, not 1. Maybe last season he would be. Lamar Jackson is not playing well at all this season, and he's at number 5. Number 4, Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger is outplaying Lamar Jackson this season. No doubt about that at all. Ben Roethlisberger will be comeback player of the year. No doubt about it. Missed basically all of last season. Ben Roethlisberger, what a season he's having, and he's the 4th best quarterback in the NFL right now. Number 3, Russell Wilson. He's having a really good season. He could win Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, something like that. I already said Mahomes was my MVP prediction. But Russ could definitely have a chance at Offensive Player of the Year. But, I think Mahomes is just, I think he's MVP because he only has 1 interception, 20 touchdowns. Russ has thrown a couple of interceptions over the season, but he has a lot of touchdowns, obviously. But I do think he's number 3 quarterback in the NFL right now. Number 2, Tom Brady. Tom Brady is looking like an elite quarterback right now. That game he had against the Raiders, he played okay against the Giants, but I do think Tom Brady is the 2nd best quarterback in the NFL right now. And obviously, you guys know who the number 1 quarterback in the NFL is right now. I love me some Patrick Mahomes. Maybe the best player in the NFL right now. Could be the greatest player of all time someday. You never know. He could win an MVP this season. Number 1, best quarterback in the NFL right now is Patrick Mahomes. No debate about it at all. And that's an easy one for me. Patrick Mahomes is easily the best quarterback in the NFL. 20 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah, that's good. Only 1 loss in the season to the Raiders, a good Raiders team. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And no doubt about that. Leave your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL in the comment section. But I think that's my top 5. And I think Patrick Mahomes is at number 1. I think Lamar Jackson is all the way down number 5. For Did You Know now. Today's Did You Know is, did you know that the average lifespan of an MLB baseball is 5 to 7 pitches? That's astonishing to me. I wonder how my baseballs, they go through a whole game, but average lifespan of an MLB baseball is 5 to 7 pitches. That's absolutely insane. Probably because they hit the ball so hard. They hit the ball so hard, and the baseball just, I don't know, it's not always in the great shape, but 5 to 7 pitches is the average lifespan of an MLB baseball, and that's absolutely mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. Did you know that? Leave that in the comment section. But that's about it for Did You Know today. Did you know that the average lifespan of an MLB baseball is 5 to 7 pitches? Now, I've emphasized a lot how I love Andy Reid and how I love Patrick Mahomes, but this duo might not always be together. Now, Andy Reid is 62 years old right now. That's a good age for a coach. But Patrick Mahomes' contract, I think he'll stay in Kansas City for around 15 years. He won't always have Andy Reid. Think about it. Bill Belichick, he's an old coach now, everyone thinks. But when he started with Tom Brady in 2000, Bill Belichick is only 48 years old. So Andy Reid, that's 14 years older than Bill Belichick started. So Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes won't always have Andy Reid for his whole career. And that could maybe lure Patrick Mahomes away from Kansas City later in his career. Maybe after his whole contract's done, he'll pull Tom Brady, go to wherever he wants to go. But, that's a bit of a crazy thing to think about that. He won't always have Andy Reid. Now, maybe it could be Eric Bieniemy, his successor. I doubt that because he'll definitely get a coaching job this offseason, if it's with the Jets, with a college team, with the Texans, someone. But I think that's a big issue if you're a Chiefs fan, maybe, because you want Patrick Mahomes. He won't always have Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes, I'd be a bit concerned because maybe you won't want to go with a new coach or whatever, something like that. But maybe later in his career, he'll pull Tom Brady. Like I said, that's a bit concerning. Patrick Mahomes won't always have Andy Reid, but right now, maybe the next 5 to 7 years, he will have Andy Reid, and that's all it is. The future of the NFL is Patrick Mahomes, and I predict that he will be the greatest player of all time when it's all said and done. Patrick Mahomes is easily the best player in the NFL right now. It's between him, Aaron Donald, and someone else, but Patrick Mahomes is easily the best player in the NFL, but this duo won't always be together. Leave in the comment section if you think Patrick Mahomes will stay in Kansas City for his whole entire career. Now, 49ers fans, I know you want to give up on Jimmy Garoppolo. I know you really do. He may not be the best regular season quarterback. He may not even be the best playoff quarterback, but hear me out. When Jimmy Garoppolo got traded to the 49ers in 2017, they were 1-10. After they won 5 games, they won 5 games for the rest of the season. He started 5 games. They went 6-10 after they got him. They started 1-10. When they got him, they went 6-10. Jimmy Garoppolo has a big effect on that team. And say what you want to say, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo should stay in San Francisco. And this is another reason. They tore his ACL. They were terrible. They had number 2 overall pick because they were so bad. That's what they got Nick Bosa. Next season, Jimmy Garoppolo, back, fully healthy. Super Bowl. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo His first season in San Francisco, got 5 wins. He played 5 games. Second season full playing, he made the Super Bowl. This season, he's not doing well because he's injured. Don't give up on 49ers fans. I mean, Bill Belichick loved Jimmy Garoppolo. He was mad when they traded him. He was mad at Robert Kraft when they traded him. He wanted to go to maybe another team, I read. He inquired about the Washington Redskins at the time and Giants coaching jobs. Bill Belichick had high praise for Jimmy G, and he said he would want him back. But, I mean, don't give up on him, 49ers fans. Like I said, those things, they're proven. Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback, and you should stick with Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Shanahan is a great young coach. Stick with Jimmy Garoppolo for now. Give him another full season next season and see how it is, but you should definitely stick with Jimmy Garoppolo. The stats say it. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA. We haven't talked about the NBA this episode. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. Steve Nash, I love that hiring of Steve Nash. No coaching experience, but I loved it. Former player, he can relate to players, and obviously KD and Kyrie wanted him in Brooklyn. The Nets, they're going full-on rebrand, everything new. Obviously, having KD and Kyrie, they're making it. They're going back to the original logo, new uniforms. Everything's new. And they hired Mike D'Antoni on their coaching staff. It's actually kind of funny. They also hired Amari Stoudemire to be an assistant coach. Mike D'Antoni coached Amari Stoudemire. He coached Steve Nash. Now Steve Nash is basically his boss. Amari Stoudemire is his co-worker. That's a bit crazy to think about, but the Nets, they need one more star, one more move. They need to trade for Bradley Beal or pick up DeMarcus Cousins. They need to get one of those players, preferably Bradley Beal. They need to get Bradley Beal. You know why? Because they need a valuable shooting guard. Karis LeVert, amazing shooting guard. I love him. Went to Michigan, everything. But I don't think he can drop 20 points a night. Bradley Beal can. Bradley Beal, game-changing player. And they could want to play with KD and Kyrie. I think the Nets could definitely get him. They could trade Karis LeVert, someone. They need to get Bradley Beal. They need to make a couple moves. The Nets are maybe the future of the NBA. I love the hiring of Steve Nash. I love how they have Steve Nash now. I love how they have KD and Kyrie. I think they could be a dynasty. They could win the championship next season. Nobody thought the Lakers would win the championship this season. They said, oh, new players, new LeBron, AD. It'll work out. They'll make the conference championship. They won't win a title. They won the title. The Nets, they could win the title this season. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I like this Nets team. I do, a lot. And they definitely have a chance to win the title this year. And I think they have a bright future, but they need to go after Bradley Beal. And I love the hirings they're making. Mike D'Antoni, I love the hiring of Amari Stoudemire, former players becoming coaches. Mike D'Antoni, proven coach. I think that's great hiring as an assistant coach. And we'll have to see how it goes. But the Nets, I think they're the future of the NBA. I think they need to make a big move. But leave in the comment section if you think the Nets need to make a big move. But I think the Nets have a bright future ahead of them. Now, let's talk about the NFL again. I'm not going to say my top 5 NFL teams, but I'll say the teams I think can contend. I think the Seahawks, they're contenders, but they could become pretenders in the playoffs. I'm not fully sure how they're going to do in the playoffs. I like Russell Wilson. I mean, that was probably the biggest game of the season against the Cardinals. Russell Wilson, he didn't choke, but he threw an interception to Isaiah Simmons when they could have won the game. So, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are contenders as of now, but that could change later down the line. Steelers, they're kind of contenders, but they're also kind of not. Chase Claypool, he needs to step up. But the only thing I like about the Steelers right now is their defense. I like Big Ben a lot, but I'm just not sure about him in the playoffs. I think they go on a 3-game losing skid somewhere down the line. I think their final record will be 13-3, but we'll just have to wait and see. I think the Steelers, as of now, are contenders. And there's 2 more contenders on my list. The Chiefs. Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. All right. There's no debating that. You can't even come up with a valuable argument. Last week I said it was the Bucs. The Bucs are at number 2 now. The Bucs are a really good team, but I think they're also contenders. The Chiefs, Bucs, Seahawks, and Steelers are all contenders. I think the team on the outside of that is the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are contenders. Yes, I think they can make the Super Bowl, the Cardinals. Over the Titans. I think they're a better team than the Titans. I think they're a better team than a lot of other good teams. I've been high on the Cardinals forever. So I think the Cardinals, they're a great team. They could definitely have a shot at the Super Bowl. Call me crazy, but they could. And I think they're definitely contenders. That's about my contenders who can make the playoffs, who can win the Super Bowl, teams like that. But I do think that the Cardinals definitely have a chance. And I do think that the Chiefs are easily the best team in the NFL. No doubt about it. But those are the contenders in the NFL. Now, let's word around the bases. As you know, the MLB season is over. The Dodgers won the World Series. Justin Turner, there might have been a big controversy there with what happened. Went out celebrating even after testing positive. The whole Blake Snell thing, I think they shouldn't have taken Blake Snell out. But the Dodgers had the heart of their lineup coming up. Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, Corey Seager, all those guys. But I don't know. Kevin Couch probably shouldn't have taken Blake Snell out. We'll just have to see what they'll do with Blake Snell. Maybe they can trade Blake Snell this offseason. I doubt it. Kevin Couch is still a good manager, in my opinion. But let's get into this. They announced the award finalists for the Cy Young, the AL Cy Young, for the AL MVP, and the NL MVP. The NL Cy Young finalists are Trevor Bauer, Jacob deGrom, and Yu Darvish. I think Bauer wins this award. I don't think deGrom gets his third Cy Young in a row. I really hope he does. I'm a Mets fan now. I really hope he does, but I just don't think he will. Trevor Bauer had an amazing season, under 1.8 ERA. Just insane, Trevor Bauer. What a season he had. He'll win an NL Cy Young. Now, the NL MVP finalists are Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Manny Machado. I did not expect those names to be at the NL MVP finalist. My prediction before the season was Nolan Arenado. He's not named on this list, but I do think Mookie Betts will win NL MVP. He'll be the second player ever to win MVP in both conferences, AL and NL. Don't forget, he won MVP with the Red Sox in 2018. He also won the World Series that year. He's won 2 World Series in his career. He might get his second MVP this season in 2 conferences, and that'd be insane. But Mookie Betts is my NL MVP prediction. Now, the AL MVP finalists are Jose Ramirez, who was my preseason pick. Jose Ramirez was my preseason pick. Jose Abreu, and DJ LeMahieu. You know, I picked Jose Ramirez when I was back doing Lane Frank Show, my old episodes. I haven't watched those in a while, but Jose Ramirez was my AL MVP prediction. I don't think he'll win MVP, though. I think Jose Abreu does get MVP. He will win AL MVP this season, and, you know, he had a great season this year. Jose Abreu will win AL MVP. That's about it for the awards in the MLB around the bases. Obviously, the Dodgers won the World Series. We'll just have to see if they win it next year. And the MLB season is wrapped up. They had some bumps in the season with the Cardinals, the Marlins, obviously COVID outbreaks. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of funny. They had no positive tests for a while, and then the last day of the season, the Dodgers, they had a positive test with Justin Turner. It may have been false, I don't know, but that's just crazy. But the MLB season is over, and that's about it for Around the Bases this week. Those are the finalists for all the awards, and I did my predictions. You leave your predictions for AL MVP, NL MVP, and NL Cy Young in the comment section. Now, I just talked about some MLB awards. Let's get into some NFL awards. We're at the mid-season point. Let's do my NFL awards as of now. MVP, I've said this many times in this episode, Patrick Mahomes is the MVP this season. 20 touchdowns, 1 interception, no doubt about it. Patrick Mahomes is MVP over Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, good season, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You know, those are good stats, but Patrick Mahomes is MVP this season. Offensive Player of the Year, Russell Wilson. You know, Patrick Mahomes, I said he was MVP. He doesn't have as many interceptions. He won to win Offensive Player of the Year. He has 20 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, he doesn't have as many touchdowns as Russ. I think Russ will get 52 touchdowns, something insane like that. But the interceptions, Patrick Mahomes, because of the no interceptions, he's my MVP over Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson, it will win Offensive Player of the Year this year. Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. Over Joe Burrow, over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a really good first game of his career against the Texans. I thought he would win Rookie of the Year. A lot of people thought Herbert wouldn't even play this season. Herbert is easily Rookie of the Year. You know, maybe you could say Burrow, but Burrow's having a really good season, but Herbert's having an even better one. Justin Herbert will definitely win Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. A lot of people were saying Cam Newton. I'm going to say Big Ben Roethlisberger. This is an easy one for me. Maybe Allen Smith, you could say, Cowboys player, because he came back from a crazy injury and is having a good season. But I think Ben Roethlisberger is easily Comeback Player of the Year. Missed all of last season with the shoulder injury and is playing phenomenal this season. Out of his mind, maybe one of the best seasons of his career. Ben Roethlisberger is easily Comeback Player of the Year. Now, the last award, Coach of the Year. Adam Gase. This is the easiest one. Adam Gase is easily Coach of the Year. I'm kidding. Mike Tomlin is Coach of the Year. Obviously not Adam Gase. Adam Gase will get fired probably tomorrow. Even today, I don't even know. Adam Gase is a terrible head coach right now. But Mike Tomlin is head coach of the year. I mean, they were 8-8 last season. He rallied his guys to a undefeated 8 wins already. They're already 7-0, which is absolutely astonishing to me. They're undefeated. They might get 8-0 next week, which would be crazy. But Mike Tomlin rallied his guys, and they're easily one of the best teams in the NFL. And Mike Tomlin is easily coach of the year this year. No debate about it. And that's about it for my midseason NFL awards. Leave your midseason NFL awards in the comment section. Now it's Murder College Football Showcase. Michigan lost against Michigan State. I'm just going to say it right there. Not going to talk about it ever again on this podcast. Michigan lost. And, yep, Texas won. They beat Oklahoma State. Number 6, Oklahoma State. Yeah, that was a great win. Texas is in the top 25 and number 22. Michigan's 23 after the loss to Michigan State. But Texas is 23, and they did beat Oklahoma State, number 6 Oklahoma State at the time. Oklahoma State's a good team this year, but Texas beat them in overtime. What a win that was. That may have saved Tom Herman's job. You never know, but Texas did win. Michigan, Indiana, this is my prediction for the game this week. Michigan versus Indiana. I think Michigan will win 41-10. That's just my hopes. It probably could be otherwise. Indiana 41-10 after what we saw last week from Michigan's offense and defense. We'll have to wait and see, but I do think Michigan wins this game. Florida, Georgia. It was tough choosing the game of this week. Was it going to be Clemson or Dame? Was it going to be Florida, Georgia? I'm just going to pick both. Florida, Georgia. They should make the switch to JT Daniels, Georgia. They only won 14-3 against Kentucky last week, and that's just bad. But Florida, they haven't played in a couple weeks because of the COVID outbreak they had. I don't think they win this game, and I don't even think it's really that close. I'm going to say Georgia 28-10. Their defense is great. Their offense is not good with Stetson Bennett, but I do think Stetson Bennett maybe could put some points up on the board. But JT Daniels needs to be the starter for this team. Kirby Smart, make that decision, make that switch. You should have made it after that Alabama game, maybe even mid-Alabama game. So Kirby Smart, you need to make the switch for JT Daniels, but if you don't, I still do think you win 28-10. Clemson, Notre Dame, the game of the week. This is going to be a good game. Trevor Lawrence won't play. DJ Uiagalelei will play. He had a really good game against Boston College, but they barely even won that game against Boston College. This is Notre Dame, number 4 Notre Dame. Yeah, this is going to be a good game. I think Notre Dame wins this game against number 1 Clemson, 38-35. Notre Dame comes on top. What a game this will be. But DJ Uiagalelei, I think he'll have a good game. I think he'll come down to the wire, maybe like a 4th and goal, something like that, with like 5 seconds left. And DJ Uiagalelei won't get it. The last time these two teams faced each other, that's basically what happened. Deshaun Kaiser, it was like 4th down and goal, 10 seconds left to win or tie the game, and they didn't get it. I think that will be the same scenario this game. But ND will come on top in South Bend. I think Notre Dame wins this game just because there's no Trevor Lawrence for Clemson, and basically the main thing is in South Bend. If it was in Death Valley, I probably would have taken Clemson, but Notre Dame wins 38-35, and that's the game of the week. That's my prediction for the game of the week. Leave your prediction in the comment section for Notre Dame, Clemson. That's about for College Football Showcase this week. Now, best for last. Question of the day. Today's question of the day is, who won the Heisman? Will it be Mac Jones? Will it be Trevor Lawrence? I doubt it will be him. I think he's out of the race as of now because he's missed 2 games against Boston College and will miss the game against Notre Dame. But maybe Justin Fields. Justin Fields is my Heisman prediction. Pains me to say as a Michigan fan. Obviously, I don't like Justin Fields since he's the Ohio State quarterback, but I gotta give respect where it's due. Justin Fields is an amazing quarterback who will have an amazing NFL career. He's the most accurate quarterback in all of college football right now. Only has like 16 completions on the season. That's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, Justin Fields is an amazing quarterback. I think he is the Heisman this year. Leave your Heisman prediction in the comment section. That's about it for question of the day this week. The question of the day is, who do you think will win the Heisman? That's about it for Schoolyard Sports. Lane Frank this week. It was a great episode number 9. We talked all about the NFL. I gave my mid-season NFL awards. We did around the bases. I covered all the finals for MVP, Cy Young, all the stuff. I said the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. I said Patrick Mahomes with MVP. I did my predictions for this week in the NFL, the games this week, and I covered a lot. That was about it for Schoolyard Sports. Lane Frank. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Twitter at Schoolyard Sport. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.